All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming here today and sticking around till the very end. And just want to say a special thanks to Dan and crew for working with me and getting all this stuff together here today. So, with that being said, this is just a little bit of this is just so that you can put a face with the ambiguous voice. That is me, and basically this is on the Appazone's website, as you guys can see here. And I'm just going to invite each and every one of you to join us tomorrow. And here on the main website, we actually have open live events. So if you want to join me for our different live events, you can see when our next open and live events are, what that looks like, all kinds of good stuff here just straight on the website. And because realize that in trading, it's really hard, and there's a lot of stuff that you need to know, especially when you're getting started. And I just think it's awesome talking with Winvest and just hearing their mission. That's just so wonderful. And talking about Top Step, I have a lot of traders that go into Top Step and know the people at Top Step very well, just because they're seeing the results from the system. So with that being said, let's get started into what is price action? What are we doing here? Okay. And I really feel like the proof is in the pudding, and I think that's really, really important. And I'm actually going to start off with something that I think needs to be addressed, and hopefully this will help you out just as it helped me out. Now, everybody says that a lot of traders fail and all this kind of stuff, and you know what? I can understand that, but I can also understand the numbers. And the reality is that a lot of the numbers that you hear are due to statistics. And I think people don't truly understand the statistics that go into trading. And money management is a huge, huge thing when it comes to trading. And I just want to share this with you real quick, because to me, this was a real eye-opener. Now, I don't know if you guys see this or not in the marketplace, but every single trade is basically, it could be a winner or it could be a loss. Nobody knows, nobody has the magic crystal ball for sure that can say, hey, this one's for sure going to be a winner, da, 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 da. It just doesn't exist, And if somebody's, saying that they have a system out there that cannot fail, then they're probably trying to sell you something. But the real interesting thing here in these statistics is this. Okay, now this is a sample size of, let's just say, 100 trades. And I think the reason why so many people struggle with trading so much is just because of the statistics. Here's the winning percentage and losing percentage, and it doesn't really matter about the losing percentage so much right here, but this is something that I like to start off with, just because understanding this and looking at these different percentages here, and looking at, even if you're winning, let's say 70% of the time, look at how many consecutive losses you could have here, all right? And that's what these columns represent here. These are the number of consecutive losses, not just the number of losses, but the number of consecutive losses that you could have. Even if you're doing 70% of the time, you could have 2 losses in a row, no problem. 3 losses in a row, guaranteed, almost. 4 losses in a row, very highly probable. 5 losses in a row. Now, that kind of hurts a little bit there, don't you think? 20% of the time. Out of 100 trades, you could see 20, or you could see 5 losses in a row, statistically speaking. And that's likely, okay? How is that going to make you feel emotionally? Now, me as a guy, I like to be correct, and it's fun to share the good trades. It's not so fun to share the bad trades, but they happen, all right? And these streaks happen as well. and they're part of the probability. And I think that's why a lot of people have such a hard time is we don't really understand the numbers that are going into place, okay? And I just wanted to share that with you because I've been listening to a lot of the other presenters here with you guys, and it's just wonderful to hear other people's thoughts, you know? I think it's really, really good. So let's get into reading the markets and understanding price action. And like I said, I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves. And so with that, I'm just going to pull up this YouTube here. We have our own YouTube channel that we do a lot of market analysis over stocks and futures and Forex, all kinds of things. So this is the Disney and Twitter stock analysis for back in December. All right. Now this is what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is all about understanding price action, understanding supply and demand, support and resistance. But I really hope that you guys will check out the YouTube channel and join us in the room, all that kind of good stuff, just because what we're trying to teach is price action, except it's a little bit more advanced than what most people might consider price action to be, all right? So if you look here on Disney and Twitter, the Disney outlook was, let's see if we can scroll through here a little bit. We were pointing to the upside. If you watch the video, it says, you know, we're looking at 118 to the upside going up. And then over here on Twitter, we're looking for prices to move to the downside. Now, again, this is in December, mind you. And I just think this is kind of cool because let's go look at those stocks right now. All right, let's go look at Disney. Now, this is back in December, mind you. All right, so here in December, this is where we're pushing this a weekly outlook, and we're saying that we're seeing nothing but longs, okay? And we're seeing the price move nothing but to the upside. And look at where we are today. We're at 113. And 118 is where the actual video calls it. We're really not that far away from that point. Now, yes, it's been a slow, steady grind, but it's been pushing, pushing, pushing. I just think that's really, really cool, you know. And if you guys want to get a good feel of like where a lot of the markets are going, or if you guys want to like say, hey, Gabe, check out this market. Tell me what you're thinking there. I've been doing this for several years, and you know, like feel like I have my PhD in market analysis now. So let's look at Twitter. Twitter, we said over here on the YouTube video back in December, we said we were looking at we were looking at Twitter being at 14. Okay, so let's it's a few minutes long doing all this stuff and telling you why the market's doing its crazy motion, and I really think that we need to understand why the market is doing what it's doing. Because when I first started trading, I went to the trading school of hard knocks, okay? And I don't know where you guys are in your trading adventure and journey, but the school of hard knocks is good. It's painful, but it will teach you what you need to know, all right? And just looking at the markets and understanding why the markets are doing what they're doing, I think is so, so important. Okay, so we're looking at Twitter being down there at 14. Lo and behold, Twitter is at 14. Let's look at last week's forecast. All right. Now, I like to also trade Forex quite a bit here. So this is on the Aussie yen. We are looking to the downside on the Aussie yen. Okay, we see a little bit of resistance, or excuse me, some support coming in here, but arrows drawn to the downside, and let's go ahead and see what has happened since that point. Okay, here's the Aussie yen, and lo and behold, we are pushing to the downside. We saw that little bit of support come in there, and you know, like if you compare the video with the zones right now, you can see a little aqua zone right there. And what that is a little demand zone, all right? And if we pull down the software, we can actually see that demand zone and how it really did do its job. it was a quick job, but it did do its job. You can see price bouncing down, bouncing back up here. We have these two little lines drawn of really where I'm thinking price is going to bounce off of and then continue down in its merry direction, which is what we see going on here today. So I think that's pretty cool. And over here on the euro dollar last week, what did I say on the euro dollar? Okay, here we are in the euro dollar. I'm looking for price to bounce off of this aqua zone as well as this trend line drawn here and push to the upside into the chocolate zone. Okay, so let's go over to the euro dollar. I'll look at what's happening. Price is coming down here to the bottom of this aqua zone. It's also hitting off of it's coming closer to this trend line. I still think it's got a little bit of time to go, but we definitely pushed down off of that level pretty well, and we're looking for price to come into the chocolate zone. Now, this is a big time frame perspective. This could be still like a 2-month position, maybe 3. So, but we are coming down here. We're getting closer to the trend line. We still haven't quite touched it, but maybe another week and it should be good to go, you know. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing here at Apazones. Now I want to explain to you what all these fancy colors are on the chart and what all this stuff is about. So remember how we said what we're really here about is understanding why price is doing what it is doing, and once we understand what price is doing, then I think we have a real good chance of being a good market maker, or a good trader, if you will. A good money manager actually is the proper term. And the reason why I say money manager is because with all the trades that you take, not all of them are going to be winners. You know, even at 70%, look, if you recall back at those statistics that I shared at the beginning of the presentation, like there's a lot of trades that could still be losses, and you're still at 70%, and we're just looking at like how many consecutive losses you could have. All right, but I think the important thing to do in all of this stuff is that we are proactive in it. All right, and number one, I feel, is that we have a plan. Okay. Having a plan, what is price going to do? I shared with you guys my swing trade perspectives here on the Forex. I shared with you some of the stock forecasts that we've been doing in the past. Okay, you can view all of those overall plans that we're posting on our YouTube channel. Every single week we push out new videos. We're pushing out new ideas and things of that nature of possible opportunities and possible plans. But I think it's important that we have a plan because, well, you know what they say. If plan to fail, fail to plan. Or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So I think that's really, really important, okay? And a lot of these Forex trades especially, like these things can take a long time, and they're not necessarily the most active during the US session, but you know, you kind of learn to trade the UK session when you can. It helps when you have automated systems that can tell you, hey, you need to wake up and go place a trade. I depend heavily on that. I'm a programmer and a trader, okay? So I've made a lot of the software that we're going to be talking about here today. And it's super duper nice when you can have the software alert you to, hey, the market conditions are setting up nicely for this particular one, okay? So, and this all goes into having a plan, all right? So first off, we have a plan. And now we need to wait for price action to confirm that plan. Now, I teach at UCLA, and as we're teaching all of these concepts, what I have found, and as we've pushed people through the APA mentorship program, what I've found with people in general is a lot of times we can get people to read price action and have a good plan really, really well, okay? That's not the problem. The problem is executing, okay? And knowing how to execute the trade. So we've come up with some cool stuff there, but I think execute and money management is the third step in it. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 simple steps in our idea. So when we see people go through the mentorship, we want to make sure that they are all following these simple steps. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When I learned how to play golf, I don't know if you guys know how to play golf or not, but man, golf is so challenging. Just mentally, like, you get down the cadence in your swing, and you want the ball to go straight and not shank it to the left or shank it to the right. You know, you want to have a good swing. You want to have a good trade. And I think it's important that you get down that cadence so that you hit the ball straight every single time. Because a lot of us have a tendency to shank it one way or another. Maybe we have a slice or a hook, okay? And to get over that idea, to get over the fear and the greed in the market, I think is super duper important. So I think it's important that we just have 3 simple steps, okay? We have a plan, we wait for price action to confirm, and then we execute. And that's where the money management stuff takes in. And the money management piece is probably the biggest edge that I have. I'm not going to be able to get into it all today just because we're going to be talking a lot about the bars. But I just want to share with you guys why it is so important and what's going on here. All right. So with advanced price action, and the reason why I named the software the way that I did, the reason why I created the software is because I saw a hole in the market. I saw a hole in the understanding of why price is doing what it is doing. And once you understand why price is doing what it's doing, you know, trades like this here on the euro, they start to make sense, okay? Why did I end my trend line up here at 11,043, you know? Well, it was because of XYZ, you know? Why does this software over here on the left-hand side say up and trending? But the market's been moving down for the last few days. What's going on there? Well, we'll get into all that good stuff here in just a little bit, but it all comes back to very, very simple understandings of what are the market conditions, okay? And I actually break it down into 2 market conditions because, again, I'm very logical. I'm a programmer. Either something's true or something's false, okay? And I know there's a whole bunch of different objective ways to look at the market, and some people are so amazing at like Fibonacci and Elliott waves and all this kind of stuff, and I think that's super duper cool, and these zones go along with those things like peanut butter and jelly. It's just absolutely awesome. You know, you put your zones on your chart, you put your fibs on your chart, and you can eat that thing, and it's yummy. Well, maybe not quite eat it, but it'll be interesting. Let's put it that way if you try that. So let's get into the theory and the understanding behind this stuff. Now, with all forward-looking software and forward-looking systems out there, what we depend upon is understanding where we've been. And if you think about it, it's a lot like my trading journey. I don't really experience big success in trading until I understand where I've been, okay? And I understand, like, hey, you know, I've been doing this for X number of years. I went to college for this number of years. I got a tuition, all this kind of stuff. And I understand how that has kind of played out into what I'm doing these days, okay? So I think it's important that we look at what has price done historically, all right? And understand that in these 2 different market conditions we have here, we basically have buyers and sellers duking it out on our charts, okay? And I'm just going to start with the most recent levels here. just so that we can understand these basic principles. What the software is actually really, really smart, and I've tried to make the software just as smart as I am, including giving you heads-up displays of what the trend is and all this kind of stuff based upon neural networks and really complicated stuff that I'm not going to dive into, but it's really cool. So the basic idea behind all this is understanding these two simple words, okay? Consolidation and expansion, all right? And price is going to move in between these two different ideas over and over and over again. And that's really what it does really, really well, okay? There is a differential in the structure of the markets, and it leads to this wave pattern. You know, like you can see one wave up, coming down, another wave up. This is what I'm looking for, another wave down. And I've almost told you why I'm looking at this wave down, even though you haven't even watched the YouTube video yet. But we'll start to see these natural progressions of waves here, okay? And it's really true. You know, you have, if you think about it, like a plane flies, why? Because of low and high pressure differentials, right? You have gravity pushing down and you have pressure pushing up, okay? That overcomes gravity's pull down. And it's the same thing in the markets. We have the wave functions going up and down, and it's really cool mathematics stuff. I'm not going to bore you with any of that. But when we understand what the cycles of the market are, I think it's super duper cool, because what the software attempts to do is identify those areas of consolidation for us, so that when we understand where one area of consolidation is, and you can kind of see how every single one of these bars is highly overlapped, okay? And then when we see the expansion bar, now I think it's also very, very important to identify what the expansion bar is. Now, I've done a lot of study in this as far as the coding side goes, and what I've found here is that this like expansion bar here, what does that represent? How does that look compared to the other bars? This bar needs to be 1.5 times this previous size of the previous bar, okay? And that is an expansion bar to me. So we've identified the consolidation where we have a ton of overlap of all these different candles. And then once your eye visually sees something that's 1.5 times bigger than the previous bar, it usually says, hey, that's the bigger bar, all right? I don't know why it is, but that's just the way that it's formed, all right? So we see price rallying to the upside here, okay? It based around here, it rallied to the upside, now it's coming back down, up and down, and it moves in waves and cycles, all right? So knowing how this market moves and why and what it's going to do and when are the super duper important pivotal areas in the market, I think is super duper important. You know? So what I made to help me with that is, well, being a programmer, I said to myself, you know what, I need software that can identify these areas for me, that can identify these areas of consolidation and expansion and what they represent. Because as soon as we identify an area of consolidation, guess what happens? A lot of times we see price coming back and retesting this area of consolidation, all right? And as we see that area of price retesting that area of consolidation, then we see rapid expansion in the opposite direction. So you can kind of see like this area down here got retested, and you can see where this blue zone is. Now, what that blue zone means is this system, the software is intelligent, okay? I'm trying to give you the same edge that a 20 or 30-year-old vet would have, and what he reads as normal market sentiment, market conditions, what he's thinking in his mind. All right, that's what we're trying to do with with the software that we have in AppZones. Is it's meant to go along with all the training that we give you. So we're going to teach you the basics. We're going to teach it just like I'm talking right now. Like we're going to teach you the bar by bar price action, the context idea, the market structures idea, okay? And then I've made the software that says, okay, this is what I taught you way back in the first week of Price Action School 101. It's happening again today. Don't forget it. Here it is, you know? And so we're going to be going over a lot of this stuff if you pay attention to the Apazone's training and to the software, okay? So we anticipate every single one of these zones that the software automatically creates to be retested once, okay? So we want to see that first retest. And when price interacts with the zone, guess what? The zones are interactive and they change color. All right, so when price first interacts with this level, that means that this level used to be this nice aqua color, but it's now blue. And all of the zones with the green text at the tops and the bottoms are all support levels. They're all levels, or I should say support levels or demand, okay? And I know that everybody's probably familiar with the ideas of supply and demand, all right? But maybe support and resistance are something that you're a little fuzzy on, and that's okay, because that's really why I made the software too. Was I was like, okay, you're telling me about this support and resistance thing, but really, what does it look like? Like, it's not just a line on your chart, you know. Sometimes price kind of sort of gets there. Sometimes it doesn't. You know why? What is that about? Well, that's why I made the software, because of that fuzzy logic, because of that fuzziness in the markets. It's all based upon fractals, but without diving into like a 20-minute tangent of talking about fractal math and market dynamics, let's just say that it's all based on fractals, okay? And this is how we can relate the terms. So support and resistance plus time equals supply and demand, all right? So what does that look like on this chart? All right, so I said that this zone down here could be a demand zone. It could also be a support zone, okay? And the first time price interacts with that, that is considered the money bounce. All right, so we have a couple different entries that we can do with the Apazone software, and if I have time, I'll get into those. But we have so much to cover in so little time that I'm worried that I won't even cover the basics of what the software is doing. So first time price interacts with this is called the money bounce. This is awesome. This is the awesome sauce, okay? And this is all that we're expecting out of any one of these levels. So remember how we're talking about that fuzzy math, the fuzzy logic. Where is price really respecting support? Where is price really respecting demand? Well, it's inside the zone. Okay, when price touches the zone, it's really respecting support and resistance and supply and demand. Now, building both your X and Y axis together, support and resistance is on your Y axis, time is on your X axis. You know, we have time going along here. We're using both time and price in the grand scheme of things. Okay, and I think every single trading system should do this, you know, like everything completely based off of price, I think lacks some things. Everything based off of time lacks some things, you know. A system based purely off of volume, I think lacks some things. You know, trading directly off of every single fib line out there lacks some things. You know, we need to build a case for context, all right? And that's where I think software has been lacking here as of late too. And I shouldn't say all software, but I think we have now, as a society, developed software that is super duper smart. I don't know about you, but I love talking to my phone. I love having a personal assistant tell me about things. And I'm actually checking my phone right now. It's telling me that there is something happening here on pound dollar. Let's go look at pound dollar real quick. Okay. So, oh, well, that's cool. So this thing is pointing to this software saying that there is a divergence in price happening here on pound dollar. All right. So let's go take a look at these zones real quick. And we just found a new zone up there of resistance, and it's coming down out of the zone right now. So that was a text message that I just got on my phone, and it's just how software can help keep me in the grand scheme of things. And if I like that as far as context goes, you know, I can trade that, you know. Right now I'm a little busy, so I can't really read the complete context of that, but maybe this would be a good exercise to go through with you guys. Do you guys want to do that? Just out of curiosity? Yeah? All right. Let's go build the case for context on this one. All right. So I just got I build automation stuff too. All right. So I'm just gonna let you guys on a little bit of the secret sauce going on here. We have these aqua and purple diamonds, just so that you guys can follow along here. These are divergent signals based off of this RSI divergence. And anyway, long story short, they usually tend out to be some pretty good levels here, okay? Or some pretty good indications that price is doing something or failing to do something, all right? So what we have going on is here on the pound dollar, we're looking at it on a 15-minute chart. Now, this is like the bottom time frame that I actually like day trade the markets on as far as Forex goes. I usually stick to like a 15-minute for an entry. So we're getting some, we're hitting some resistance up here, and on the 15-minute time frame, you can see like this new zone's formed, and we just formed this little diamond. Okay, so let's go build a case for context. And what I usually like to do is I usually like to pop up here to a daily time frame and see where I am in the grand scheme of things. Am I relatively high or relatively low? All right. Now, in this particular one, I'm right in the middle. Okay. So if I am going to take this one to the short side, like it's saying that there's a possibility for a short right now, I'm really playing around in the middle on this one. So I don't really like that one at all. Okay, I'd rather be playing on the extremes, like where these diamonds are over here. Okay, now it's really nice when we get this software plotting out all these things for us automatically, because it just saves me a ton of time in analyzing everything. And so I just have these market scanners of just it doing everything that it needs to do, and then it just pops up with a little thing and it texts me, and that's exactly where we're coming from here. Okay, so when these diamonds plot, I get a text message, okay? So I can take action on that bar, all right? So right now we're right in the middle of stuff, and this is actually not forming from the daily chart, but forming from a 15-minute chart. So this is a very aggressive short play. For me right now, after looking at the daily time frame, this is a no-go. I'm dinking around in the middle here on this market. There's no reason to actually take this trade, okay? Until we get more on the extremes. Okay. Now, also here on the daily time frame, I'm just going to go ahead and cheat a little bit because I can, but I'm pretty sure that what this thing is going to say is that we're down and rangy. Yeah, we are. All right. So over here on the far left side, this is my neural network that I built out. Basically what happens is I'm a price action trader. I trade these bars. I trade swing highs, swing lows, price failing to do stuff, price making new highs, new lows, all that kind of stuff. And I broke it down into 15 different criteria. And if you guys aren't familiar with neural networks, basically it's software that regulates itself, that that changes itself over time. And I felt like it was really important to make software that changes itself over time because the markets change dynamically over time. You have a variable change in every single different market out there that we have to be aware of, okay? And so we need software that's just that smart, okay? That can read the markets for what they are and then change appropriately, okay? So those 15 different criteria go into 5 different judges. Those 5 different judges then weight themselves and can change dynamically as the market change. And then the bottom line is the trend is down and rangy, okay? So that's what's going on here. And just give me a second here, guys. I need to grab a drink. Wow, I usually don't look at the questions too much, but since I was looking at the comments there, I saw somebody that has a master's in neural networks. That's really cool. I'd love to talk to you. So that would be really cool. So anyway, getting back to the overall idea is this thing can change into down and rangy, down and trendy, all kinds of different things. You know, here's up and trending. And the reason why it says up and trending is because there's things going down here, even though we're really close to, you know, all-time lows down here at 103. Price action has made the necessary changes, and it's dynamic that says, hey, we are actually starting in a new uptrend, okay? So I just think that's super duper cool. And again, it just gives me the edge so that I have to spend less time analyzing the markets and more time doing more important things, okay? So I can worry about my money management more than I can looking and analyzing the markets here, okay? So anyway, just going back into the support and resistance and time and supply and demand, these I feel are the basic principles that drive the market. I would also say volume as well, because we need market participants. We need interested parties to take place, because when we look at mass psychology, and I think it is mass psychology playing out here on our markets, just kind of like with random number generators. If you guys are familiar with random number generators that we've put in around the world, when major global events happen, like big volcanoes and earthquakes and different big events happen, the whole consciousness of mankind changes somehow, and we've been able to see random number generators align temporarily, and it's really, really fascinating stuff. But I won't get into some of that stuff because we're talking about making money, right? We want the software that allows us to help us make money the quickest, right? And I don't feel that trading is an overnight, you know, get rich quick type of thing, but it's something that you need to learn. And what we're trying to really do with the software is it allows us to identify, hey, when is price at an interesting area right now? And right now, price is telling us that it's up and trending, okay? Again, 30-year-old trading vet sitting next to you, whispering in your ear, hey there, Sonny, what you doing? You know, why are you trying to short this thing? You have support down here. You have demand down here. This is a good time to buy. What are you doing trying to do a short trade down here, you know? So we've identified this area for us, okay? The software has automatically identified it for us. And it's saying, hey, let's look at the long. Let's look with the trend being up. We're in demand, and do we have enough space for our risk to reward? In the NinjaTrader platform is what I'm using here, and we're actually building this out on a few other platforms as well. but we can measure out the Y value here is what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at 65 ticks. Do I see 65 ticks before price touches this aqua zone up there? Well, yes, I do. That says 128, right? So that's more reward than there is risk right now. All right. Now, is price telling me that it is going to go up? Actually, on these daily bars, it hasn't told me that yet. Okay. Yes, it's starting to get consolidated. Remember how we're talking about consolidated before, how price is starting to overlap the previous bars quite a bit. Notice the expansion bars coming down into this level. See those big expansion bars coming down, right? So, and now we're getting all consolidated. So this is a good sign, but technically price hasn't told me yet that it's going to go up. I'm looking for that, and to be honest with you, I'd love to see it like hit the trend line. I'd love to see that trend line get hit just a little bit more. So, but we'll see when that happens, okay? And that's part of like timing out your trade, it's just making sure that price is telling you that it's time to do something, So we have a plan of what we think is going to happen here. I'm waiting for price action to confirm, and then it's time to execute. Assuming that the money management, the risk management looks good. And I even have my targets lined up here just with the zones. Not even to mention the neural network that's telling me what my overall new trend direction is, but I also have targets that are dynamically placed. Now, notice that every single one of these zones on my chart, they're not evenly spaced. It's not like we're looking at some magic zone that automatically gives you this small risk, high reward trade. Like that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. Just like expecting you to be an overnight success in trading is not really realistic, It says that we have, let's say, 65 ticks of risk if you were to go long right now. First target you can make is 128. Second target, 342. Now this is in a swing trade perspective, okay? So these numbers may seem really, really high to some people, or they may seem really, really small to others. And unfortunately, trading is relative, What's big risk to one person is small risk to somebody else. What's a good night out on the town to one person is somebody else's, yearly budget. It can be that crazy. All right. So these zones are built to measure dynamic price movement. All right. So every single one of these levels are there based upon what price action has told us in the past of how big this demand level is here. How big is this supply level up there? Okay. Price tells us how big those levels are. We don't get to decide. Price tells us. Okay. And I think it's important that we're flexible, that we're able to adapt to new situations. We build that variable change into the software at its core, okay? When we're reading price action, and again, like I can take off all of the software with a click of the button, okay? I just click the button and it's all gone, all right? And that's because these bars are what's important. Understanding those big expansion bars and a bar that is 1.5 times the predecessor will always look like a big bar to you. I don't know why that is, but that's the way your mind works, okay? So just realizing that kind of stuff, I think, is super duper important. And realizing how contraction, how consolidation happens, and then in the expansion. And we will move to an expansion phase, It's just a matter of when. All right, so I got another alert here, guys. Let's open this up here. This one is for the Aussie CAD. And this one is for a long off of this one. All right. So it does look like we're hitting a little bit of support down here. I would say it's temporary support, but a little bit of support. I would say that this is a no-go for me. But I do realize that there is some stuff going on here, and this thing is moving in the upwards direction. So there's a little bit of support here, and it comes down to a matter of risk to reward. Okay, in this particular one is what I'm going to say right now. All right, so that's the real question that we have to ask ourselves: is the risk to reward worthwhile to be taking this one? All right, now I'm just showing you the price action. I don't even have any software on this whatsoever, but it's saying that we have some divergence and some other things going on here as well. That's going on in price action right now. So I think that's really cool. It's really, really helpful for me to be aware of that at all times. So I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of what we're doing, of how we're processing all of this stuff, because when we understand the basics of, hey, price consolidates and then it expands, and history, you know, I think it's important that we look at history, because history is bound to repeat itself, right? That's what your history teacher taught you, right? History is studying time, right? It's studying the x-axis there. So why not study historical price action? You know where high is. These zones in the red with the red numbers by them, those are high areas, okay? These down here are low zones, all right? Those are wholesale prices. Knowing where those levels are, super duper important. Just looking at this dollar-yen market. I don't know why I spend a lot of time on Forex, but I guess I just like it. I also trade futures too, but I don't know. I'm swing trading a lot of these Forex markets. So here's the Forex market, and this was really, really interesting because I was actually long on this market, and I've been long on this market a couple times, but this big wick right here, this was the US elections. Look at where it reloaded into, and then boom, huge, huge bar, and we've just accelerated and accelerated. We moved all the way up to weekly supply, all right? Not daily, but weekly supply. And we know that this weekly supply was started over here, all right? And that's where we found the high, that's where we found all kinds of confluence. If I look back here, this was started on 129 of 2006, or 2016, okay? That's where our high point is, and we've been drifting down below that, all right? So sorry for some of these extra drawings on here, but if you look on the YouTube videos, we've been watching this for the past several months. We know why price found support down here, and we were looking long for a long, long time, okay? And then this thing happened, all right? So it's just understanding where are you in the grand scheme of things. You know, we know up here is weekly supply, and we know that down here is weekly demand, all right? If we're playing around in here, then we're kind of playing around in the middle, right? So if we're right here in the middle of things right now, which way do you, just based upon the markets moving in waves, which way do you think we should be going right now? I'm just curious. Which way do you guys think we should go? Or which way do you guys think that this one should be moving? Short, long, lower, up, okay. We got a lot of different things. Okay, so down, I see a few more downs, I think, than I do ups. Okay, that's interesting. Um, well, we've obviously retested high, and it's failed to break high, and now we're kind of right here in the middle. So in my mind, we're right there at like a 50% retracement line from these lows down here. So we're hitting right at the 50%. And it's funny because 50%, we use it on a lot of the fib tools out there, but it's actually just a measured move. So in my mind, I want to see if price won't go back to the upside here shortly. And so coming down to the daily time frame, that 50% line actually lines up really well and really close. Actually, if we took it from here, but if we take it from the extreme lows, that 50% line lines up with this demand zone really, really well, So I think that's very, very interesting. So I'm actually watching this pretty hard and pretty heavy to see if price doesn't bounce off of a zone just a little bit lower here. So we'll see. Time will tell. By no means is this a magic crystal ball, but that's the move that I've been waiting for this thing to come back down here, and then I think this is a great place to average in again, or in case you're not long to possibly to get long out of this and see how strong this level really is. This is going to be an interesting level right here, just because of the measured move. So I still think it can move down a little bit further, but here. Just because of the measured move. So I still think it can move down a little bit further, but I think it's super duper interesting. So so that's a little bit of what we're doing here. Sorry, I also have some of the quarters theory stuff on this as well. If you guys aren't familiar with quarters theory in Forex trading, check out quarters theory. I know some people here were interested in quarters stuff. I actually went ahead and made some quarters theory things on a free platform called TradingView. I think it's super duper important. You guys can check out TradingView and my quarters theory stuff over there. But anyway, this is going to be interesting. But that's a little bit of what we're doing here. If you guys have any comments or questions, I know I didn't give us a whole lot of time for comments or questions. Actually, here's a book about it. Let me bring that up real quick. It goes in line with what we've been talking about as far as supply and demand really, really well. It's a pretty simple read. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Sorry guys. Well, shoot me an email and I'll get you the link to the book. You can find it on Amazon. It's not too much. Yeah, it's just quarters. Yeah, just like a normal quarter, that coin. And here's my email address, just real quick. You can contact me there. Also put it in our chat. So that's what that's a little bit of what we're doing here. Interesting thing to read here on the dollar yen is this trend is currently up and rangy right now, is what the software says. So it's been range bound for quite a while, and apparently it's still staying a little range bound. So I just think that's kind of interesting. I definitely saw it right there, but it looks like it's broken out of that just a little bit, and I'm really looking to see what that 109 area looks like right now. Do we do options? Yes, we do options and all that. Well, you can do options. Personally speaking, I don't do options. just because I'm more of a developer and do crazy things like that. But it's you can do options with it. We do have a few people doing options with it, so I can put you in contact with some mentorship people that have gone through Appizone's mentorship, and they can tell you all about options and show you how they use it. And it's really cool because you get a scanner. So here is one of the scanners that I have. This is going out to a friend of mine, and it just scans all the stock markets, and then it just pops up whenever we have a stock signal. So right now it's just saying active, but then when something happens, and this is more for your options thing and everything like that, and then it just instantly texts the whatever the symbol is and whatever direction is, and when all that confluence comes together. So that's what I'm doing here. As far as the readout goes, this just shows you the tick size as far as what like a dollar would be worth. Okay, a dollar move. That's what that's showing. And then these little things over here, the readout, just to answer your question, these are just the 5 judges and how they're weighted right now. So these weights can change as the market conditions change, and probably will, you know, but it regulates itself based upon historical data. So that's all that's going on there. That's all. It's actually really sophisticated, but I just don't have time to go into any of that stuff. I really recommend you guys coming out and joining me tomorrow. Also tomorrow we're going to be pumping out new forecast videos, just like you see here on the YouTube channel. If you come and search for Appizones, you'll see some of our different forecasts and how they've played out over the days, weeks, months that we've been doing these. So I think it's pretty cool. You can see a lot of our predictions and just the forecast of what we see going on there. Okay. So, and again, I think kind of the proof is in the pudding. You know, now, are we correct 100% of the time? Absolutely not. Nobody is, you know. But a lot of times we can see the moves happen technically before they really happen because of some mysterious news or whatever the talking heads say there on the different news outlets. So anyway, that's a little bit of the website. If you want to join us tomorrow in our live room, it's open to everybody. Our mentorship people will be in there as well. Here's our little schedule and agenda. You can see the different classes that we have going on there. If you guys are a little bit curious, but maybe a little bit still confused, have some questions, I can totally understand that. We have this thing called the Price Action School, and I really recommend that this is where you start off your education if this stuff is new, or if you're new to trading or just thinking about getting started. This is a real inexpensive way to get the basis of what the bars mean. I know that I really didn't get a good while to go right into the bar by bar analysis, but I think it's super duper important because bar by bar analysis is just huge. Okay. And you can do the 4-part video series first just to see if you like it, but then the Price Action School is actually more of a tutored type of Price Action School. So you go and turn in your homework, and then we grade your homework and give it back to you. And it's really just the start to our mentorship program, okay? So basically we want to give you a taste of what it's like to work with not just me, but with the rest of the people in the Appizones community and our trainers. Because I guess I feel a little bit differently than what I see most people advocating here is I think that I have a real opportunity to duplicate myself. I think the software speaks for itself, and you'll see it tomorrow if you decide to join us. But the the people that understand and that have gone through the training, I think it's part of their education to share the knowledge, okay, to pass it forward, all right? So, and it also allows me to duplicate myself. So I train 3 people, those 3 people train another 3 people, and it just keeps on passing it forward and passing it forward and passing it forward. And I don't have to do as much, you know. I can run these morning rooms as I do my own personal live trading and answer more of the technical questions, and the people that have gone through the classes and gone through the price action school and our Appazone's community members can do everything else. And that's where the community room comes in. And we have a whole bunch of active community members over here looking at different things and sharing their insights and all that kind of good stuff. So in our Skype room, and yeah, we just want to give you a good example of what everything looks like here now. In the price action school, you can get those first 4 videos of it here by filling out that form. But if you scroll down, you'll see exactly what's inside the price action school. It is a 4-week class, mind you, okay? So we're not just gonna give you like some generic run-of-the-mill type of stuff, but we're gonna be more interactive. So if you're just now getting into trading, I think it would be a great place for you to learn why the bars mean what they do, more about these basic ideas of support and resistance and supply and demand, how to put that in context as we're trading all these different fluid markets in futures, stocks, Forex, you know, take your pick of anything. I even have a guy that's been trading penny stocks, and I try to steer him away from trading penny stocks, but man, he has knocked it out of the park with those. So anything that you feel comfortable doing and that the software can run on, go for it, okay? So the price of the price action school is only $149, okay? And that is for all 4 weeks plus the homework and the all the interaction with the one-on-one type of homework grading and everything like that. And you guys can join into us into our open room every single day. So and the school is only $149. So I mean, if you're taking a futures trade, like, it's less than the price of the risk on futures trade, pretty much guaranteed, you know. So I mean, it's like almost a no-brainer, you know. But if you understand the context, if you understand the structure, why is price doing what it's doing, you know? Why did price bounce up there the way that it did? Well, it was because of XYZ, supply, demand, you know? It makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that's what we have going on here. And we just want to make sure that, that everybody is able to take advantage of this stuff. The software is not needed to take the price action school, all right? The price action school is standalone by itself. You can be on any platform out there that you want to. The way that I look at it, and in the mentorship, like you saw some of the neural network type of stuff and things of that nature, like the readout from that. That stuff is as a complement to the education, all right? We're going to teach you first how to do it for yourself. Basically, you know, blank chart reading, you know, like nothing special there. If you know where your levels are, where's low, where's high, you know, then you do what you're supposed to. Even in the counter trend direction, I mean, you could have sold that high if you wanted to. I mean, there was good reason to do that too, down to the downside, okay? But knowing where you are is a huge part of it, okay? Knowing why low and high is where it is huge. And price action tells you all that. It's so kind, you know? It's so nice. Once you are able to read the sheet music, then playing an instrument isn't that bad, you know? It's just learning how each instrument varies as you play the music. And it's like that in the markets too. Every single instrument has its own little quirks, you know? So that's a little bit of what we're doing with the Appazone software. And again, we didn't even have time to really touch on the money management side of things, but it is so huge. Like that is a huge edge, is just having good money management. And I know that that's really, really vague, but when you have good money management, it, seriously, I think with the proper money management, it could even take like only like maybe a 20 or a 30% winning strategy and turn it into a successful strategy. The real question is, do you have the mental fortitude to stick with a system that only wins 20 or 30% of the time? That's the question. Most people, they say that they can do it, but they can't. And teaching at UCLA, it was really interesting. We asked all the students like straight up, so what percentage of time do you think you could be right or wrong? And most people said, they could stand being wrong like 40% or 30% of the time, is what they said. And then we did this little experiment to see how often they truly were comfortable with that. So as we were teaching them this bar by bar reading and everything like that, we got into this whole idea of, okay, now you tell me what's going to happen next, and then we would just tallying them up, tallying them up, tallying them up, and most people stopped after 3 or 4 because they couldn't stand being just wrong that number of times, So I was like, statistics work yet again. So it's just interesting, and I thought you guys might enjoy that that little insight that we did at UCLA. So anyway, this is what we're doing with the price action school. Like I said, it's only $149, and it's a 4-week class. So, and plus it gets you a taste of the mentorship. The elite software and the software that you see that showing, giving you the neural network and that readout and everything like that, that is a part of our mentorship package, as the elite package right there, and it's in the mentorship. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to email us on the website. That way we can answer all those good questions there and get you guys started. And again, I'm a real big believer in, see it for yourself, right? So I invite everybody to come in tomorrow and just check out everything, okay? So I think it's super duper important that everybody check it out for themselves and go from there. So, yeah. I just want to thank you guys for your time. Yeah, the software is sold separately from Price Action School. You can find all the prices as well on the website. Let me come over here. Basically the software, these are the software packages that we have, as well as a couple individual packages like this PAF, and we are soon going to be doing a divergence one as well. But if you're interested in buying any of the packages, just hit the buy button, and that will share with you all the differences in between the packages. Now, I'm just going to tell you straight up, if you're brand new into trading, I would recommend Methods, just because that does most of the heavy lifting for you. All right, it's not the neural network, but it's the package right next to the neural network, and it does all the heavy lifting for you. If you're an advanced trader, you've been doing this for 20 years, you know what you're doing, and you just need the levels because you know what supply and demand trading is. You've already been there, done that. You just want it automated. Elements is okay for you, but then again, wouldn't it be nice if you were getting text messages over all this stuff? So down here in the indicator panel, you can go in with all the alerts, and you can put in your email address or your phone number there, and it will actually text you like you guys have seen me receive a few texts during the presentation here. So just recommend that you see it for yourself. Come join us tomorrow. See it, like It's cool. It's really cool, and it's all based upon just this general understanding of price action. We don't need special bars, special charts. The fractal math is fractal math, and a lot of those charts will build in the fractal math just because it's fractal math. So uh, you just got to use it for what it is. Hopefully, you guys are able to see that. Um, Here's the packages again. The methods package is there, and you can do a month by month type thing, or a trial for those amounts, and then it moves into a month by month. Okay. Elements is for the experienced trader, even though it's the cheapest. You really need to be like the 20-year-old vet. Okay. And methods does all the automation, all that kind of good stuff, and it's right next to the elite software that and the elite software, it's got really advanced scanning techniques so that it can build this case of multiple time frame context mixed with a whole bunch of really cool stuff that we do. And again, I just don't have enough time to really get into all that stuff. As you know, we want to talk about the bars and why does price do what it does. And to me, I need to keep it simple, just like a true and false statement. When does price tell you that it has failed to do something? All right. That's super duper important. All right. When does price tell you to do that? If you're curious and you want the automated version of that, check out that PAF, price action failure. That's what that stands for. When has price said that it has failed to do something? That's what that specializes in. But just check out the website. There's a lot of good information on there, and come join us tomorrow, and you can ask me any questions that you so choose. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out today. Here's a link for the price action school. It's under education and then price action school here on the website. And it is that link right there. So price action school info. And if nothing else, you can take the 4-part video series and see what you like. See if you like it. And then all the homework and the one-on-one-ness comes in the actual price action school during that 4-week class. Is it still blank? Do I trade in the room? Yeah, I trade in the room. So I will tell you my thoughts and opinions during key market times is the way that I trade. I only trade like 2 hours a day. Day trade, only 2 hours a day. And then I swing trade for the rest of the day. Just kind of like as you guys experienced, like I was looking at a couple different opportunities there in the Forex. But yeah, I only day trade 2 hours a day, and then the rest of the time is spent swing trading and developing new things. So want to thank you guys for coming out. Really appreciate you guys sticking with me. Hopefully you've learned something new and seen something that intrigues you a little bit. And if you have questions, if it's a little fuzzy, that's okay. Stick around and we'll show you some other cool stuff and how we put it all together. Pound New Zealand. Huh. Pound New Zealand. Oh, that's a good one right there. Yeah. This is an interesting market right now. I'm actually looking for this one to go to the south side, and I've been waiting patiently for this thing to go to the south side here. So, but it's coming back into this level, if it breaks the 179.98 level, I'm not going to be looking short too much longer, but I'm I don't know. We'll just see. I haven't gotten a signal on this one yet, but I'm just waiting patiently. I know that this level's been hit several times, and if we break up there, then something like this is what I'm looking for this resistance or the supply zone to reform. You know how supply and demand shift over time, support becomes resistance, all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to be looking for that to happen if this level breaks there. But right now I'm technically looking for the short. So we'll just see. Indicators work on, no, actually, we have a bunch of different platforms that they work on. I'm actually also trying to get it to work on this online trading platform called TradingView. And it's really cool. It's really nice and handy. So you can look at it on your mobile phone and all kinds of wonderful things because it's a web browser. But we actually have support for TradeStation, Sierra Charts, MT4, and NinjaTrader right now. So those are the different platforms that we're on currently, and hopefully soon TradingView. Now, the neural network is only on NinjaTrader as of right now. Okay. But the rest of the software is in various states on the different platforms. Yes, the base software works on MT4, and I'm working on getting the neural network on MT4 right now, actually. So I'm working on building out a scanner software on MT4 so that we can really scan well with it. I would love to show you more of the neural network. However, I'm pretty sure I'm completely out of time here, guys. But you can come in tomorrow morning and take a look at it. It thinks for itself. That's why it's pretty easy to use. So I'll show you what it does. And then there are some cool settings like being able to text you and send you all these alerts and things of that nature. So that's nice. All right, well, I'm going to hand things back to Dan here. So thank you, Dan, for having me on the program today. And I hope it's been educational and very informative. The room starts at 9 o'clock Eastern time.